Hey, it's Marianne again. Here is the self-massage part of class 2 of self-help for jaw pain. So let's rub our hands together briskly, and just some general guidelines are to notice the sensations where you're working and in other places. The body is often connected in very strange ways, and it's pretty fascinating. Notice tension, notice releasing, notice asymmetries. Just note it and move on. And if you want to stay longer in an area, you can hit pause on the video. So we'll start with the upper traps. So we're going to work across the body, one shoulder at a time. Squeeze it a few times. And then I like to use like my middle finger to just compress. I'm just pressing down towards the earth with my finger. And while I'm doing this, it's nice to just kind of move the head. I'm going to move out about an inch. Oh, yeah. This is a major acupuncture point right here called the shoulder well, and it's where we store a lot of anxiety. I'm going to move out, and then out one more time, and I'm getting into the bony part. Other side, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Press where the neck and the shoulder meet. And move out. Third space. And then out into when I'm getting out toward the bones of the actual shoulder joint. I'm going to drag my heels back from the sides of my neck. And now I'm just going to feel the bones on the sides of the neck. Like, yeah, there's skin, and then under that skin you can feel that some places are bony and some places are soft. And then right at the back of the head, right here on the midline, there's a kind of a line of vertebrae. And we're going to be working in this soft tissue that's in between the side bones and the back bones of the neck. So I like to do this. And I don't have a mic, so I'm not sure if you could hear me, but you're just kind of almost like you're doing a taffy pull up your neck. And if it feels easier for you to move down, then by all means, do what works for you. Let's see. So feel the bone behind your ear at the bottom. And don't press on it, because it could make you dizzy. Bring your index fingers to the space in front of the bone and make little tiny circles in that soft space, and move down toward the bottom of the bone to the very point of it, and then come up the back of this little bony bit called the mastoid process. And sometimes you might there might be a certain place, like right now where I'm pressing, I can feel something at the top of my head. I don't know what that's about, but it feels pretty good, so I'm just going to hold it. And then I'm just going to keep going around. And then back in the front of the space between the jaw and the mastoid process, I'm going to feel around. I'm going to come down about a half an inch and I'm going to feel bone. And I'm going to line my index fingers up with the ends of the C1 vertebrae and just very gently hold it. And you can even notice what happens to your energy. If you're familiar with your subtle body, you may feel some interesting things going on right here. So I'm going to line my fingertips up just where the soft tissue meets the bone at the base of the skull, and I'm going to strum back and forth. And this probably feels pretty good. And if there's any place that's really tight, just stay a little bit longer there. And now for the SCM. So I'm going to turn my head to the side so that my SCM pops out. There you go. And from the top, I'm going to squeeze, pluck and squeeze, moving from top to bottom. You kind of get a sense of how powerful this muscle is. All the way down to the clavicle, and then I'm going to come back up. And you know, I've been doing this kind of stuff for a long time, and I do know that not everybody's SCMs are this easy to grasp. So if it's hard to grasp, just pluck what you can. It's generally easier toward the bottom. And don't press in because you're working pretty close to the jugular vein, and you just don't want to put any pressure on that. Okay. And I can feel things happening back here. So other side. And you can sometimes notice quite a bit of difference between how tight one side is versus the other side. This is part of the asymmetry that can affect your temporomandibular joints. Ugh. Dang. Some places it just feels really good to squeeze. Okay, and so now the next movement is pretty subtle. We're just going to slide the skull on the neck. So I'm trying to keep my neck as stable as I can, and I'm going to move it forward and back. And now I'm going to move it side to side. It's pretty subtle. If nothing happens, you can just skip it. And then squeeze the skull with the heels of the hands over the ears. Feel it give. And then release it slowly. And now one hand on the palm of the hand on the forehead and the other on the back of the head. So you're pretty symmetrical. Press your hands toward each other. And release. And now, live long and prosper. It's time for the Vulcan salute. Get all of that nice and warmed up. And now we're going to free the vagus. So I'm going to turn so you can kind of see the back of my head. So I've got fingertips behind my ear, pretty close to my ear, and I have some other fingertips that are close, not on the midline, but they're about maybe an inch out from the midline. And I'm just going to very gently drag my fingers away from each other. And I'm even going to come down because the vagus actually, it's kind of underneath the, it comes out underneath the skull. And other side. Ear pulse. So just grab the flesh, the cartilage of your ear, and pull it back and up. You could actually just try like moving it up and down, making yourself kind of like an elf. And I love just doing a little ear massage just because it feels so good. You can even like just make little circles. I know I'm adding this in. I forgot about it the other day. And you may notice like there's skin under your ear, tissue under your ear next to your skull that is tight, and it's can be kind of hard to work, and so this can feel really good. All right, slide your thumbs under your jaw in the soft tissue, right inside the bone. I'm going to do that again. And now with my thumb still there, but just touching lightly, and my fingertips on my cheek, I'm going to push my jawbone up into the joint very gently. And now I'm just going to let the weight of my hands pull it down and hold. And if you can hold this for a minute, that's great. You may feel some, the longer you hold it, like up to 3 minutes, you may feel some real releases. I'm not going to do that on this video, but you can pause it if you like and if you have time to do that. And now we're going to create some space in the TMJs, put our fingertips on our temples and our thumbs below our cheekbones, and we're going to move our fingers apart and just hold. And again, if you want to hold this up to 3 minutes. This is a little myofascial release, so my fingertips on the skin are pulling the skin, the fascia under the skin, the fascia around the muscles, the fascia around the bones, and the bones. So dragging on the skin can change the positioning of muscles and bones. This is called myofascial release. All right, that's it. Check back in.